this club the second half of the year?
Well, you know, Frank, first of all, the Sixers won 58 games, so that's a lot of games in anybody's book. However, Doctor did admit going 41-10 the first half of the year, the Sixers may have lost a little bit of the spark going into the second half of the year. Plus, there were some key injuries to Moses Malone, Andrew Toney, and Dr. J, and you can't have those guys injured going into clutch closing scoring situations.
Well, from the Bullets standpoint, to get Jeff Ruland back in the starting lineup today, that's a big boost. And Jeff Malone hurt the other day with a back problem, but he will start, though he's not at top efficiency. You like your basketball physical? You've come to the right place. It's the NBA on CBS.
The NBA on CBS. Today's playoff game from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is sponsored by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. Honda Motorcycles, inventors of the ATC three-wheelers. Honda, follow the leader. AC Delco, the smart parts. And by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
I tell you, there's nothing like a hot steam bath and a cold light beer from Miller.
That's the truth. Light doesn't fill you up, so you can sit back and relax a while.
Ah, that tastes great.
Hey, Ben, how about another cold one?
Me too.
Me too.
Me too.
Hey, wait a minute.
That ULC?
I didn't say anything.
Uh-oh.
Whoa, get out of here!
Hurry up,
I got my hat.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Do you know me? It's frightening how many novels of suspense I've written. But still, when I'm not recognized, it just kills me. So instead of saying I wrote Carrie, I carry the American Express card. Without it, isn't life a little scary?
To apply for the card, look for an application and take one.
The American Express card.
Don't leave home without it.
The Dino Room. Weak machines fear it. Once harnessed to the dynamometer, there are no secrets. The Honda Magna. Its V4 power seems immeasurable. The power of Magna. All the power you'll ever need.
Well, the 76ers won Game 1 the other night by a score of 104-97. Game 2 coming up, and here's a look at the starting lineups between the Bullets and the 76ers. First of all, for Washington, coached by Gene Shue, 18th year as a professional coach. Cliff Robinson and Darren Day will be the forwards. Ruland back at the center position. In the backcourt, it'll be Malone and Gus Williams. Meanwhile, for the 76ers, champions 2 years ago, coached by Billy Cunningham, the Doctor will be up front, teamed with Bobby Jones, the defensive specialist. The chairman of the boards will be in the middle, Moses Malone. In the backcourt, the quarterback, Mo Cheeks, and the great shooting guard, Andrew Toney. The officials for today's game, Tommy Nunez, and Hugh Evans will work the game, and Mike Mathis will be the alternate, and he will be stationed at the table. Well, let me correct that. Nunez will be the alternate, and Mathis and Evans will be the officials. And there's Ruland now making his first start since back in January. He came off the bench the other night, scored 20 points, had 10 rebounds. That's almost his season average, and put on an amazing show, I thought, James, in terms of stamina.
Well, as you mentioned at the top also, Frank, Jeff did an excellent job of staying in shape while he was injured, running 3 miles a day, working out on his Nautilus gear. He was anxious to get back to action.
He actually lost weight during his rehabilitation period, so he was really into it. Malone and Ruland jumping center. And the tip controlled by the 76ers. Mo Cheeks guarded by Gus Williams, which will be one of the key matchups today. Toney to Bobby Jones. Malone shooting over Ruland. And Day grabs the rebound for the Bullets.
Nice job that time by Jeff Ruland keeping Moses Malone out of the blocks. Moses can convert that corner jumper, but the Bullets would prefer for him to take that.
Why Day instead of Greg Ballard starting?
One-on-one ability. Gene Shue feels that Day is the best one-on-one player on his team. He wants him to challenge Dr. J by taking him to the basket.
Jeff Malone with the miss. Sixers had an opportunity for a break, but Toney slowed it down a bit. Robinson knocks it out of bounds. It will be Philadelphia's ball in the front court. 76ers won 4 out of 6 during the regular season, but the Bullets did beat them 1 game here in Philadelphia. They were the only Atlantic Division team to own a win over the 76ers here at the Spectrum. That was very early in the season. Shot clock inside of 10 seconds. Malone down to 6. Irving, Day guarding him, back to Cheeks, 3 seconds.
Bernie Bickerstaff, the assistant coach of the Washington Bullets, feels that man, Maurice Cheeks, is the real glue to the 76er team. He's the catalyst. He'll do whatever the Sixers need to get the game going.
And he's had a sensational year so far for Philadelphia. Shot from the corner by Malone is no good. And again, the 76ers controlling the backboard. Doc Irving. Back outside. That's Tony's shot. Jones saving it. Back to Cheeks, and they'll start it over again. Tony has been somewhat of a slump. He's been bothered by a sore ankle and missed 5 games at the end of the season. Cheeks hits again. That's normally a guy you don't rely on to score that much. But in one game earlier this season, he hit 9 straight against the Bullets.
One of the most underrated point guards in all of the NBA. He can do it all, as I mentioned before, Frank.
And it will be Cheeks picking up the first personal foul of the ball game as he fouls Gus Williams.
Strategically, what the Bullets hope to accomplish, Frank, is to keep this game a low-scoring one. In the 90s, no more than about 100 points in the game if possible. And they'll do that by milking as much time off the 24-second clock as possible.
76ers out in front, 4-0. Malone short with the jumper, tipped up, and it will not go by Day. And here comes Moses Malone leading the break. Gus Williams with the steal, and that's an easy 2.
That's Gus's forte. Anticipation is superb. He's been doing it for 9 years in the league now. Excellent anticipation.
He is the all-time steal king in the NBA. Cheeks with that miss, and Robinson with the rebound. Interesting talking to both coaches yesterday. They sounded the same theme. Billy Cunningham said, we can't let them beat us from the outside. And Shue says, we've got to beat them from the outside. So that will be a factor to watch, certainly in the early going.
And the reason that Gene Shue wants his outside game working well, Frank, is that helps to establish the post-up game with his big front liner, Ruland and Cliff Robinson, as well as Rick Mahorn when he gets in there.
Shot ricochets off the boards, and the 76ers control it. Tony from outside. 2.
Only thing you can say about him is he's Mr. Confidence. Believes whenever he has the ball in his hands, he knows what to do with it and can do it. A real money player.
There's been some talk here about Tony having a feud to speak of with the Cunningham, but Cunningham says it's not so. I'm just trying to get him to play better defense, and he has played better defense and had an excellent defensive game the other night against the Bullets. There's Billy C. Still only 41 years old, one of the youngest coaches in the league. Gus Williams driving for the basket. And I believe the foul will be on Tony. Second team foul. A non-shooting situation. Ruland trying to get inside of Malone. The ball batted up in the air. And here comes Cheeks running the break. 3-on-3.
Yeah, carry the ball that time. The official was right on top of it. Great defensive job by Moses Malone on the other end. Jeff Ruland wisely took a look to see where Moses was before making his offensive move. But Jeff at 6'10" made himself about 6'5" when he double-dipped with the ball, bringing it down to his waist. You've got to keep that ball high and try to draw the foul.
Bullets trailed 6-2. They've hit only 1 of their first 6 shots from the field. Williams almost lost it. Little dipsy-do there, and he gets the roll. Gus Williams with his second basket. He only got 12 the other night.
And again, that's one of the keys that Gene Shue has got to get going today, and that's Gus Williams.
Moses Malone, pull-up jumper doesn't go, and Bobby Jones tips it out of bounds. It belongs to the Bullets.
So far, Frank, the Bullets have done a good job in keeping Philly from getting that fast break rhythm of theirs going. The Bullets must control the tempo to keep this a nice, low-scoring game, as we mentioned before.
Well, we've had only 10 points scored in the first 4 minutes of this contest. Darren Day trying to penetrate. And the foul will be on Dr. J.
Now, there's an example of what we were talking about before. Gene Shue wanting Darren Day to go one-on-one with the doctor. Gene feels that last year, one of the reasons the New Jersey Nets had so much success against the Sixers was because of Albert King going one-on-one against the doctor.
Cliff Robinson penetrating and getting his first basket of the game. And we are tied at 6.
That's the other Bullet player you'll see Gene Shue going to an awful lot. He thinks Cliff Robinson can out-muscle and take advantage of Bobby Jones defensively down low.
Fakes to Doc Irving. Jones open. Bobby Jones hits it from 17 feet. Bobby's averaged only 7.5 points per game, but he's in there primarily for his defense. He has made the NBA first all-defensive team 8 straight years.
And again, a real drastic example here with the Bullets trying to spread the court, allowing Day to go one-on-one.
Talk about pure shooters. How about Jeff Malone? Has he had a year?
The key to his game has been confidence. He's got more playing time this year than as a rookie.
Trying to alley-oop it to the Doc. Cheeks going for the steal. Here comes Gus Williams. Penetrating beautifully and then dishing it off to Malone, who gets his second straight basket. And the Bullets have jumped out in front 10-8.
And again, give the credit to Gus Williams, who is best in an open court game versus a one-on-one game in a set half-court offense.
Scene will shift to Washington for games 3 and 4, if necessary. Cheeks. Malone with the rebound, penetrating and trying to pick his pocket is Darren Day, and Day got called on the foul.
Now, one thing the guys in blue are going to have to keep in mind, the rim that the Philadelphia Sixers are shooting at is an awfully tight rim, meaning the rebounds will come out longer. You've got to block out higher.
6:39 left to play in the first half. It's the Bullets by 2.
When you take one of these things up, you've got a crew to help. When it comes to my car and truck, I do the work myself. In 40 years, AC spark plugs have never let me down. And with today's technology, AC fire ring spark plugs are engineered to give you up to 30,000 miles reliable performance. Never wait for trouble. Go with AC fire ring spark plugs.
Now get rebates on AC spark plugs. Call 1-800-AC-DELCO for a participating dealer.
Chili burger, burn it!
Nothing like lingering over a nice, lazy, leisurely lunch. And for that upset stomach trouble that can come from eating on the double, there's new chewable Alka-Mints from the fast relief people of Alka-Seltzer. It would take both a Tums and a Rolaids to get more strength than one Alka-Mints. No leading tablet works better. So after your next relaxing meal,
Mash and mash!
there's new Alka-Mints. With a strength of 2, it's the one to chew.
The world is divided in half. Some can go to the net, some can't. There are good backhands and bad ones. And most important to Bic, some guys have normal skin while others have more sensitive skin. So Bic made the new Bic Orange. It shaves sensitive skin gently and closely. So for normal skin like mine, the original Bic White Shaver. And for sensitive skin, the new Bic Orange. Oh, by the way, some people love John McEnroe, and some people,
Wednesday on Double Dare.
I should never get dirty.
Billy D. Williams and Ken Wall tangle with thrill-seeking rich kids on a rampage of robbery and murder.
Kill him, Mickey.
Let's bring you up to date on first-round action yesterday around the NBA. In the West, San Antonio got 29 from George Gervin in the first half and beat Denver to tie that series. Final score 113-111. Portland over Dallas. Now, they played a double overtime game, and that one was in overtime yesterday. And that series is squared at 1 apiece as they move to Portland for games 3 and 4. The Lakers are cruising with another easy victory over the injury-decimated Phoenix Suns. So they're out in front 2-0 in the best of 5. And Boston again got all it could handle from the Cleveland Cavaliers. But Boston wins it 2-0 as they move on to Cleveland. Our score 10-8. The Bullets have hit their last 4 shots. It's interesting when you match up these teams. 76ers are actually the shortest team in the NBA. You wouldn't believe that.
Only averaging about 6'6.5", 6'7" in height, Frank. But they've got such talented ball players. And of course, the guys they do have over 6'6", like the big fella on the free throw line, is one of the league's very best.
Well, Moses, of course, led the league in rebounding again, averaging better than 13 rebounds a game. But if you think you're that strong, guys like Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain used to average 22 a game over a season. Gus Williams with the miss. 76ers wanted to run. Couldn't quite get it going. Doc with the pass to Bobby Jones. Great assist from Irving.
Doctor loves playing with Bobby Jones. He feels that Bobby Jones allows him to get into the offensive flow a lot more so because he's so mobile.
Day with the pull-up jumper over the Doc. Darren Day gets his first basket of the game. 6'7", second-year man out of UCLA. 12-11. The Bullets lead it. Malone. Cheeks taking a look inside. Tony on top. Shot clock at 5 seconds. They get it inside. Lose it out of bounds. 76ers turn it over.
Again, good job defensively by the Bullets. They were rotating well, and they had Moses forced out of the blocks.
Well, you win the opening game in a series, and obviously the odds are with you. Last year, each team that won the opening game of the best of 5 went on to win the series. Charles Barkley has come into the lineup. First substitute on either side as Day hits the shot for the Bullets. Bobby Jones comes out.
I asked Darren Day before the game, with him having to go one-on-one against the Doctor, was he in awe? Was, in fact, he going to play apprehensive? He said, there's no time for that now. I've got to go out here and perform, and I can do it.
3-point advantage for the visiting Washington Bullets here in the first period. Irving going cross-court to Tony. Driving on Malone. Bullet jumper goes. Jeff Malone will pick up his first personal foul. And Tony with a chance for the 3-pointer.
And again, Andrew, Tony definitely has the speed advantage against Jeff Malone. Plus, you just saw a good example of excellent hang time in the air. Athletes at this level are so exceptionally talented, but what really separates them from the others in this league is their attitude, their confidence. And this young man here believes he can score every time he gets the ball.
One of the great pure shooters in the game of pro basketball. Well, that 3-point effort notched things at 14. 76ers applying a little half-court pressure. Day driving on Irving. And the Doctor calls him from behind as Mike Mathis calls the personal foul, second on Irving.
Again, fitting into the overall scheme of Gene Shue's strategy, this one tactic of Darren Day going one-on-one with the Doctor is paying early dividends. The Doctor picking up his second foul. Darren's going to have to continue to do that. If they get the team's spiritual leader and Doctor out, then the Bullets are in better shape.
Day was a third-round draft pick a couple of years ago. Very promising young player for Gene Shue's team, which has been riddled by injuries most of the season. They never got things going the way they wanted to and got into the running game like they wanted to. But when they get healthy, and they starting to now, they can be problems. Barkley with the miss, the rebound. Mo Cheeks to Irving. Robinson went up and fouled him. So Robinson picks up his second personal foul.
Watch the blue shirts standing around the basket. Jeff Ruland's the only one in there aggressively going after the boards. No blue shirts around, and the Doctor's able to come in for the attempted slam dunk. The Bullets have got to get aggressive on those boards if they expect to keep Philadelphia away from them.
That's Doc's first point of the game. Again, talking to Cunningham yesterday about Irving, he said he knows Doc so well that he could just watch him, and he just sees him run down the court, and he knows if he's ready to take him out for a little blow. And he watches his minutes very, very closely.
Well, at 35 years of age, again, he wants to make certain he can keep those legs as healthy as possible.
Steal by Irving.
You're going to get an example of what those legs can do.
A great slam by the Doctor. Save that one for the highlight film. That gets the crowd into it. Robinson on the other end guns it down. Cliff Robinson, great jump shooter at 6'9". 17 all. 4 minutes left to play in the opening period here at the Spectrum, Philadelphia. Crowd expected to be about 10,000, which is well under capacity. They had only 7,000 for the first game the other night. Irving!
Well, now what's got Doctor inspired was the defense, that steal that led to that open court break. And that, again, in terms of the strategy that Gene Shue is trying to accomplish, minimizing turnovers, the Bullets have got to do that, because if the Doctor gets fired up, he fires the rest of his team up.
Ruland at the free throw line goes underneath to Malone. And Jeff Malone with an easy 6-foot jumper. Good ball movement that time. Again tied at 19. That was Day knocking the ball out of Irving's hands. Barkley. Moses Malone trying to body up on Ruland. Goes with the turnaround. And gets his first basket of the game.
Doesn't look like a Charles Atlas type, Moses Malone that is, but one of the strongest players in the league. Loves the contact down low.
Well, he may have his match in Ruland in terms of bodying up today. Washington has hit 8 of their last 9 and now make it 9 out of 10. They're really hot here in the latter stages of the opening period. Malone has hit 4 of those baskets. And again, we're tied at 21. It's the 6th time that we have been tied already.
And again, we're talking about the need for Washington to have that outside game working well. In order for their post-up game to work well, Malone is key to that.
Barkley trying to penetrate on Robinson. And Robinson saying, all I did was turn around and try to get out of the way. But Robinson will pick up the personal foul, and that is foul number 3 on Cliff Robinson. And Gene Shue wants a timeout. Score tied at 21 in a moment.
Only $59.99 for this Nissan truck, and you're telling me no other leading standard compact has more horsepower?
$59.99.
More standard payload, too.
$59.99.
Double walls, 5-speed?
$59.99. Same sticker price as last year.
More truck for no more money.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Save big with 8.8% financing on any new Nissan truck for a limited time at your Datsun dealer. Hurry.
The tornado broke this window and 4 other windows in these 2 cars. I've never been through anything like that in my life.
Allstate update. Fast, fair claim service.
Monday morning, we called Allstate. And when I came home from work Monday afternoon, they had people in the driveway repairing our car windows.
I was amazed they could get here as fast as they did. We've got a lot of damage in this neighborhood. If you're ever in a tornado like we've been through, you want to be in good hands with Allstate.
You're in good hands with Allstate. A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Twelve of auto racing's top drivers in identically prepared cars will try to prove who's the best. The International Race of Champions Series begins next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Well, Robinson will go to the bench with 3 fouls. That last call, a little questionable.
In my mind, Frank, because both players are allowed their spots on the floor. Charles Barkley leaned into him. He jumped into Cliff Robinson. Both players are entitled to their spots on the floor. Barkley did not go straight up and come straight back down.
I like what Billy C. told us about Barkley yesterday. He said he came into this league and he wants not just to be a player in the NBA. He wants to be a star.
And he's got all the tools to do just that. Came down from about 285 pounds at the start of the season to around 263 now, but he packs it tight and is exceptionally quick.
Got that short haircut. Lose a few more pounds, maybe that way, huh?
And the thing I like about him, Frank, is that Charles Barkley, first year in the league, does not fear anyone. He will take it right to you, but he's got the equipment to do it with.
Philadelphia has out-rebounded Washington 10-5 here in the early going. Now, that's a stat worth watching because the Bullets have had some problems rebounding, but that's mainly with Ruland being out of the lineup. And he, of course, is in there starting today.
Now, the Bullets have got Charles Jones, number 23, in the lineup. A free agent pickup mid-season. One of the Jones brothers of Major Caldwell and the rest fame, and he can play.
Williams, 3-point effort, short of the mark. And the rebound comes down long to Tony. Tony, who is no slouch at shooting 3-pointers himself. He averages 37% from outside that 3-point line. Malone again bodying up with Ruland. And Ruland doing a good job distracting him. Day with the rebound. Bullets try to run. Ruland loses it. Ball loose on the floor. Day goes up with a shot and scores.
Give the credit all the way back on the defensive end to Darren Day and Jeff Ruland. Ruland with a super job on Moses Malone defensively, but Darren Day helping out on the boards.
Bullets up by 1, 23-22 with a minute and a half remaining in the first period. Tony's shot spins out on him. Volleyball on the backboards, and it kicks out to Gus Williams. Down it comes to Day, driving on Jones, gets it inside, and the foul is going to be called on Barkley. And going to the free throw line will be Charles Jones. Barkley picking up his first personal foul. Dudley Bradley getting ready to come into the game for the Bullets. Jones is the fourth Jones brother to play in the NBA. Caldwell and Major. Then they had a brother named Wilbert who played. And they have two others in that family who are the head and the assistant coaches, respectively, at Albany State, where they all played collegiate basketball.
Basketball playing family, to say the least. And I mentioned that Jones is a good ball player. He's much better without the ball. He moves to free himself around the basket on the offensive end to go up for the slam dunk or the easy layup, and is an excellent shot blocker. As a matter of fact, the Bullets haven't had a shot blocker like Charles Jones since the Elvin Hayes days.
Well, he's been a real bonus because they signed him as a free agent to a couple of 10-day contracts. Jones with the miss, but Barkley is there for the follow. So the man who owns just about all the nicknames, it seems, in the NBA. Bread truck, round mound of rebound, the Crisco kid, you name it, they've called him. Just about everything. Gets the hoop. Jeff Malone, who's had an outstanding first period, has 10 points in the quarter.
And again, that shot was taken with about 8 seconds on the clock. The Bullets are again trying to milk as much time off of that 24-second clock to again control the tempo.
Tony with the drive and the pull-up J. Spins out on him, but he draws the foul. And Tony will go to the line. Foul will be on Malone, and that is his second.
With this particular lineup that the 76ers have in there, you see the doctor is not in there. One, as you mentioned, Frank, because Billy Cunningham is watching his minutes to make certain that he doesn't get too fatigued. And two, when Charles Barkley is in there, his best game is on the inside. And the doctor, of course, is most effective on the inside, so you've got to have one or the other, usually.
That makes it a one-point game at 27-26 Bullets. 30 seconds left to play in the opening period. Dudley Bradley gets it across the center line, guarded by Tony, and he walked. Well, the crowd gave Mathis a little help in calling that one.
Indeed, Dudley Bradley looked as if he was on ice skates on that one.
That's got to be the most obvious walk of the year. So here's the 76ers with a chance to capture the lead before the end of the first period. Down to 15 seconds. The shot clock is off. Tony. Billy Cunningham called it out the second, says go. Tony back to Jones. Time running out. Jones puts it up. Barkley tips it in. It will not count. Hugh Evans says it came after the buzzer, and Evans was standing right in front of the scoring table when the buzzer sounded. But wave it off, and so the first period is over, and the Bullets lead the 76ers 27-26. And that tip-in basket by Charles Barkley will not count. So that's the end of one here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. We'll be back in just a moment.
Every day, we face a simple truth. The world is getting more and more complex. Technology from a company called TRW helps find patterns in complexity. It gives us perspective. So when we look at the world, it's a little simpler to understand. Tomorrow is taking shape at a company called TRW.
Just before his trip, Art Price checked his engine for any problems, but there was one he couldn't see. The fan belt. Even this morning, no mechanic could have seen it would break, because today's engine belts don't usually show signs of wear. But after 4 years, even the best belts can go anytime. Is your car 4 years old or older? Change the belts and ask for Gates, because nobody knows more about belts.
Winning in basketball takes control. Winning in life also takes control. I'm Isaiah Thomas, and this is my mom. Together we have everything under control.
That's right. Isaiah have his basketball under control, and I have my high blood pressure under control.
Call the American Heart Association to see how you can help control high blood pressure.
Even when Isaiah was a baby, he was quite a dribbler.
I was?
Yes, you dribble your milk.
The American Heart Association, we're fighting for your life.
once again, take a look at the basket that was disallowed at the buzzer. Jones shot, and then Barkley going up with a tip, and watch the clock. I'd say it was a good call.
The official was right on top of it.
27-26, the Bullets leading the 76ers. These two teams also met in the final regular season game, which was won by the Bullets in Washington. A look at the opposing coaches. One thing that concerned Gene Shue coming into this game was the fact that he can't get fouls called on Moses Malone. He said it's almost impossible. Bullets run it down court. Good ball movement, and Day winds up with an easy layup. Darren Day, who's off to a fine start.
Now the Sixers have got Clement Johnson in the lineup now as they try to give Moses Malone a little breather, who's really been working hard, Moses that is, on Jeff Ruland.
Clint Richardson. Now he has served to ignite this team on more than one occasion. He's that type of player. Dudley Bradley with Tony guarding him. Day with Jones on him, and Ruland inside. Picked up by Clement Johnson as Malone is on the bench. 76ers with a chance to recapture the lead.
And you'll probably see Andrew Toney take more of the offensive scoring load upon his own shoulders now with Moses and Doc out.
Barkley really doing a physical job there on Charles Jones. And Jones went down hard and will pick up the foul. Now there's a good example of the strength of Charles Barkley at 255 pounds. You talk about physical, watch this.
And he's only 6'6", as I mentioned, Frank, before, but he fears no one on the inside. And that was Jeff Ruland banging bodies with him. Barkley didn't budge in midair. You know, when this kid was in college, Joe B. Hall was telling me last year that it was unbelievable how when he played against Melvin Turpin and Sam Bowie, he literally had those guys psyched out because he owned the middle. Charles Barkley, that is, at 6'6", and he was giving away at least 6-7 inches to those two guys.
Well, there's some people thought he was a little bit small to play that position in the NBA, but that hasn't been the case. Double dribble called on Dudley Bradley, and the Bullets turned it over. You know, the big turnaround of the game the other night, in the last 4 minutes, on their last 9 trips down the floor, the Bullets turned it over 7 times.
Now, the Bullets had Rick Mahorn in there to try to even up that physical matchup with Charles Barkley. Charles Jones, again, a good ball player, but a little too slim. Cannot compete physically with Barkley. That's why Rick Mahorn's in there.
That went off Tony's foot out of bounds. Here's the Bullets. Tied at 29. Jeff Malone. Richardson hanging close. And Ruland, who has not been an offensive factor in this game. Nice pass to Day, who buries it from the corner. Darren Day gets the basket. Very alert play by Ruland. Chicago, Milwaukee, just about as tight as this one. That's at the end of the first period. Jeff Malone has picked up his 3rd personal foul for the Washington Bullets. Malone, number 24. And that will necessitate Gus Williams checking back into the lineup. And we've got a 20-second timeout called by Gene Shue of the Washington Bullets. Bullets wound up the regular season 2 games below 500 with a record of 40-42. But when you consider they had the 3 big guys in their attack together for only 20 games during the year. That's rather amazing. Robinson and Gus Williams and Ruland, the guys they were counting on. Frank Lieber along with James Brown. We are live at the Spectrum in Philadelphia for Game 2 of this Eastern Conference first-round playoff series, with the Washington Bullets trailing the Philadelphia 76ers 1-0. Coming your way on CBS Sports, the home of the NBA playoffs. 76ers will inbound it here after the 22nd timeout. And Barkley to throw it in.
With this particular Sixers lineup, the 2 offensive threats are, again, Andrew Toney and Charles Barkley. But Clint Richardson can give him some scoring, and the key to him is him playing intense basketball.
There's Toney on the drive and the pull-up Jay. Sweet kiss off the glass, and 2 points for Andrew Toney. Toney has 9 points, and we're tied at 31. Well, the Beef brothers are both in there now, Ruland and Mahorn, but the Bullets turn it over, and Barkley going up with a shot against Mahorn is fouled.
Well, again, as I mentioned, the two offensive threats for the Sixers with this particular lineup are Andrew Toney and Charles Barkley, and they've got the fast break. At least they're attempting to get it going.
Timeout with 9:37 left to play in the half. We're tied at 31.
Legends of the NBA. The Greats Remember. Sponsored by Schick.
I was very cocky in that I believed that anytime we needed a basket, a key basket, I could score it. Or if we needed a steal, I could make it. You know, that was the confidence that I had when I played for the Knicks. And like I say, in key situations when the crowd was really very emotional, you know, I felt that I could do anything. And most of the time I did.
How many Schicks can you get from one disposable Schick?
Monday, Schick, Schick. Schick. Tuesday, Schick, Schick. Schick. Wednesday, Schick, Schick. Thursday, Schick. Friday, Schick, Schick.
No one makes a sharp, long-lasting disposable quite like
Saturday, Schick, Schick. Schick. Sunday, Schick, Schick. Schick, Schick.
How many Schicks does your disposable give you?
Schick, Schick.
Got some interesting things at halftime with Pat O'Brien in our New York studio. They had a couple interesting features yesterday, which we got a big kick out of, particularly the superstitions in the NBA. But Pat will update you on what's going on in the playoffs. We'll go behind the scenes to see how blockbuster trade turned around the franchise in Denver. The Nuggets have had a great year after that deal with Portland, and Portland's turned out to be a pretty good team as well. And we'll take a look at the dunkingest team in the NBA, the Houston Rockets. You're going to see Sampson and Elijah put on quite a show for you at halftime.
Talk about that rim needing some extra paint down there in Houston. Frank, the reason that the game is tied right now is that Washington has been successful in limiting Philadelphia to only 2 fast break points right now in the game. And Billy Cunningham mentioned that in order for his team to play well, they've got to have at least 25 or more points coming off of the fast break. So Washington tactically has got their game going well.
Well, Philadelphia, of course, leads the NBA in offensive rebounds. And they're leading the way again today. They've captured 7 of the 8 offensive boards available. Barkley on the free throw line. And Billy Cunningham now has called a 22nd timeout for the 76ers. What do you think he might be thinking right on top of the regular timeout?
I wouldn't doubt that he perhaps would want to try to exercise a little bit of a trapping defense now. Billy mentioned yesterday that one of the things he may try, depending upon how his man-to-man defense was going, was to try to surprise Washington with a little trap, particularly if they don't have good ball handlers in there, which they don't in Greg Ballard and Rick Mahorn.
You know, it's strange how things go in the playoffs sometimes. In the first game the other night, if you can believe this statistically, Maurice Cheeks out-rebounded Moses Malone, and Malone had more assists than did Cheeks.
And both guys were playing extremely well. Not that either one was doing anything wrong.
But they sure were doing things different.
Again, here we come with the full-court press.
Barkley getting both free throws, putting the 76ers back up by 2, 33-31. That is the 6th lead change we have had. Richardson going down hard. Day off to Gus Williams, wide open.
That's exactly what Cunningham did, was to call for the full court press. And watch when the ball goes in the corners. Don't be surprised to see some trapping.
33-31, 76ers. Doc from outside. Boy, that was a brick. He didn't even get the rim. Knocked out of bounds. And they'll give it to the Bullets in the backcourt. Fans thought that the ball went off Darren Day. Ruland inside. Pretty good fake, I'd say, on Mr. Barkley.
That matchup, Clement Johnson on Jeff Ruland, ought to be a matchup the Bullets should be able to exploit every time. Getting the ball down low, capitalizing on the fact that Moses Malone is not in there.
Surprised a little bit that Ruland has not scored. And he's been in the entire duration of the game. 8 minutes and 45 seconds left to play in the first half.
Clint Richardson doing a good job of frustrating Darren Day defensively, which is Clint's forte.
Mahorn looking for help, goes to Gus Williams, and we get a whistle. And foul called away from the ball. It's going to be on Clement Johnson for shoving Ruland. That's his first. You know, Mahorn will not win any popularity contests in Philadelphia. As Williams drives for the hoop, Mahorn with the rebound, gets it. A couple of years ago, you remember, he set a couple of picks that took both Tony and Cheeks out of the game for the duration of the day.
Completely leveled him, and Mahorn is a lot like an ML Carr. Many players around the league do not like him as a player on the court because he is so physical and rough. But off the court, believe it or not, one of the nicest guys around.
Doc Irving shooting over Ballard, who is now in the game for the Washington Bullets. Irving gets his third basket of the game. The Doctors got 7.
Again, there's a trap, Frank.
Ballard gets rid of it to Gus Williams shooting over Cheeks.
Now, the Bullets have really come away lucky on both plays. Those are both broken plays that Gus Williams saved them on, but Cunningham is trying to take advantage of the fact that Washington does not have good ball handlers in there to throw their offense out of sync.
Cheeks has got orders from Billy Cunningham. Anytime the ball goes up on the other end, someone takes a shot, he says, go find Gus Williams and stay with him. Irving. So the Doctor warming up to the occasion. You talk about playoff intensity. I think we've got it here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. The Bullets and the 76ers knotted at 37. Just over 7 minutes left in the first half. Again, Washington, a streaky team, has hit its last 4 shots. And again, we get a foul called away from the ball. I think it's going to be on Irving. That is 3 on Julius Irving.
Foul, Domenico.
And now a technical, perhaps, on... looks like the 76er bench. Let's see. I heard someone say, one of the officials, technical foul on the Domenico, who's Al Domenico, the trainer of the 76ers. Ballard will go to the line here. There's Domenico trying to hide.
Meekly, behind the sunshade.
Behind the shades. I didn't say anything.
Shoulders hunched over, can't hide.
Tied at 37. Mahorn almost loses it. Pull-up jumper from 16. And Malone grabs the rebound. 6 rebounds for Moses Malone. Richardson got it. Clint Richardson rings the bell for the 76ers. And they pull back out in front 39-37, and Gene Shue calls a timeout for the Bullets with 6:39 left to play in the first half. And it's been tight throughout. We've had 9 ties and 8 lead changes. It's 39-37, 76ers.
Compete anymore, but I still pump iron. So after lifting a few 100 pounds, it's nice to lift one of these. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great, and it's less filling with 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. Now, you know, bodybuilding is hard work, but having a great body has its advantages. It sure makes it easy to pick up guys. Hi, Ronnie.
Oh, well, hi there. What's going on here? Hey, honey, how about a lift home, huh?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The promise of America is opportunities, not guarantees. That challenge was seized by millions of immigrants who came to this country to build new lives and build the nation. Today, I still see enormous opportunities in the hundreds of small to mid-sized companies whose new ideas, new jobs, and new technologies will continue to build America. At First Jersey Securities, we specialize in discovering such emerging growth companies for today's investors with vision. First Jersey Securities. Come grow with us.
These men are on their way to work. Their office, the Pennzoil Penske Super Truck. Inside, the car that won the Indy 500 in '84. The car that's going for it again. Only one motor oil makes it inside this race car. Pennzoil.
Around here, Pennzoil protection is part of the equipment.
Live coverage of the Heritage Golf Classic continues on CBS Sports. Next.
Coming up next on CBS Sports, right after NBA basketball, the final round of the Heritage Classic at Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. The German Bernhard Langer, who won the Masters last week, still leading by 1 shot, going into the final round, which is now underway. If you were in Germany, so you'd call him Lunger. But here in America, we call him Langer. There's Moses Malone. We talk about Gene Shue saying he can't get a foul called on this guy. The last time Moses Malone fouled out of an NBA game was January 6, 1978. And he was in a Houston uniform then. He has never fouled out of a game in Philadelphia, and that counts more than 600 NBA games.
Phenomenal statistic when you consider that Moses' game is a physical one, Frank.
Ballard with the shot clock running out, gets it away to Day. Darren Day has really come through today for Gene Shue. He now has 14 points in the first half. Normally, you don't figure on him scoring that much. In fact, his average is only 8.7.
Passed over by a lot of teams during the draft, but Gene Shue liked him.
Bobby Jones is fouled as he makes the shot. McMillan has come into the game for the Bullets.
Cardinal sin on defense. You never ever give up the baseline. Greg Ballard failed to cut off that piece of real estate that time. Bobby Jones smartly taking advantage of it.
76ers showing a little bit of age now here with Bobby at 33, Doc Irving at 35. But the bottom line is, can they still play? And the answer is they can. 42-39, 3-point advantage. Sixers' biggest lead has been 4, and the Bullets has been 3. One thing that Greg Ballard can do is shoot.
Especially coming off of the pick, Frank. He does not put the ball on the floor well. Can't take the ball to the hoop consistently, but he can nail it coming off of the jumper. He's got one of the quickest releases in the league.
Clint Richardson trying to get it inside to Barkley. Barkley, look at him stay after it. And finally draws the foul from Mahorn. I tell you, the crowd today is not in the stands necessarily, but it is in the lane. And he's a big part of it.
And there's a lot of beef there with Barkley and Mahorn. Again, the Cardinal sin committed that time by Rick Mahorn, giving up the baseline. And this fella here, Charles Barkley, once he explodes and carries that 255, 265, whatever it is, when he carries it in the air, he knocks a lot of people out of the way.
6 points and 5 rebounds so far for Charles Barkley. How do you figure not more people showing up here early in the playoffs in Philadelphia? Of course, that's happened in the past.
You know, Philly's had that reputation, Frank. It's a tough sports town to please. Philadelphia has always been a winner for the most part. And you recall doing a game with Milwaukee back here not too long ago, they didn't have that bigger crowd.
The 7th game of a series, and they drew only 6,000. That is strange. Tom McMillan, the senator, they call him. Off to Gus Williams. Moses with the rebound. Here come the 76ers. 2-point advantage at 43-41 with 5 minutes left to play in the half. And Malone and McMillan doing a little bumping and grinding underneath.
Now, they call the foul on Tom McMillan. But again, to highlight that point that you made, there was an awful lot of physical contact by both. McMillan just doesn't have the beef to compete with Malone.
Speaking of beef, Mr. Ruland, as you see, is back in the lineup for the Washington Bullets. Malone is an 81% free throw shooter. I mean, a workhorse. He stays after it.
He'll make you pay.
He makes a lot of money, but he works for it. And he's operating with a pair of bad ankles. He's had sprained ankle problems in recent weeks, which have slowed him down a bit. 4-point lead in Milwaukee. It's a 3-point lead for the Bucks over the Bulls as Day is fouled going in for the shot.
Frank, we had talked also, as you take a look at that foul there committed by Maurice Cheeks, one of the things that Billy Cunningham wanted his team to do in keeping with their team strategy was to control the middle defensively, clog it up, keep the Bullets from penetrating, and get some block shots. Sixers have done that with only modest success. Darren Day and Gus Williams both have been able to penetrate. Sixers will have to do a better job.
Darren Day with 14 points, including 2 out of 3 from the free throw line. He has almost doubled his season's average so far. And that's the reason he's getting a lot of minutes from Gene Shue today, because he has got it going. It narrows the 76ers lead to 2. Richardson looking inside to Barkley, who's guarded by McMillan. Loose ball picked up by Tom McMillan. This could be McMillan's last year for the Bullets.
He's got political aspirations, as everyone knows, and he's trying to gauge when the best time to move into that political arena is, next year or the year after.
In the meantime, the money's not bad here, so he'll stick around. Ruland gets his first basket of the game. Ruland had 20 points and 10 rebounds in game 1 the other night after missing 43 games, and his season average prior to that was 22 points and 10 rebounds, so he was right on it. Jones wide open from the free throw line. In fact, I think Jones was a little surprised.
You know, while Bobby Jones gives the Sixers as much defense as they would need, he can hurt you from the outside if you don't respect his shooting ability.
Another interesting number here. Ruland has managed to get just 1 rebound. But he has not nearly been the factor thus far that he was in game number 1. Williams with the pull-up jumper. Gus can't hit this one. And Barkley mining it off the glass. 6 rebounds for Barkley. Richardson going in hard, sends Ruland sprawling. And it'll be, let's see, offensive foul? See what they call.
Yeah, they're going to call it offensive. You know, you mentioned about the 1 rebound stat of Jeff Ruland. A little deceptive, Frank, the same as the 5 rebounds the other night. Well, let's take a look at Clint Richardson, first of all, leaving his feet there. Jeff Ruland, clearly established defensive position. Good call by the official. But the rebounds are longer on both of these rims, number 1. And number 2, Jeff Ruland and Malone are so concerned about each other, they're trying to do a good job defensively and get help from their teammates. Again, there was another long rebound.
McMillan with the miss. Ruland with the follow. Does not get the roll. And here come the 76ers, leading by 2. Cheeks. Off to Tony. Jacks it up. Got it.
That is where Philly is most dangerous. And Gene Shue will keep control of the tempo a lot of times. If he sees Philly starting to get their break going, he's not afraid to call a timeout to slow things up.
4-point lead by the 76ers matches their biggest lead of the game. Ruland and Malone in the middle, and Moses gets the block. McMillan with the rebound. Ballard with the shot. Another rebound for Malone. Tony in on Ballard. And Ruland, who runs the court as well as any big man in the league, he gets up and down quickly. Getting the rebound. Chance to make it a 2-point game. Day is open. He's been hot. Not this time. Oh, they are shoving underneath now. Down to Cheeks. No Cheeks. Foul by Dave. First foul on Darren Day.
Moses Malone has seen his hook shot a number of times, timed it perfectly. And when the break comes down to this end, Frank, I'm going to give a lot of credit to our camera guy. He stayed right with the action, taking a look at all of this beef running out of him. Good foul, if you will, by Darren Day, making him make it from the free throw line.
Timeout. Cheeks will be on the free throw line when we come back.
If you're having trouble cutting your lawn, you should know about Honda's side discharge mower. It's easy to start, it's lightweight, so it's easy to use, and it's built so well it may be the last lawnmower you ever buy. The Honda side discharge mower, with a bag or without. Buy one and leave your troubles behind.
Come on, America. Save on Firestone 721 radios and more during the Driver's Choice Sale.
America's driving to Firestone.
Save 10 to 25% on steel-belted radios featuring our famous bestseller, the 721. Choose Firestone radios for light trucks. Even save on our popular S211 for imports. Plus, save on Firestone's Ridemaster shock absorbers, now just $9.95 each, from America's leading tire and service retailer. Choose Firestone today.
Firestone.
Hey, you want to know how to make a car sing? Well, after you wash it, just get out the old Armor All. First I do the tires. Makes them look like new again. Then I do the bumpers. Makes them look like bumpers again, yeah. Then I do the dash, the door panels. Then I hit the hoses. And when I'm finished with Armor All, this car is the envy of the entire living world.
And then he does his car.
Company car.
At the half from our New York studio, coming up 2 minutes and 9 seconds from now, Pat O'Brien will have scores and highlights for you We'll also go behind the scenes to see how a blockbuster trade turned around a franchise in Denver. As you look at Doug Moe, and a look at the dunkingest team in the NBA. And that, of course, is the Houston Rockets with the two twin towers, Sampson and Elijah Watt. Well, the 76ers have owned the boards 23-12 so far. There's the time left in the first half as Cheeks goes to the free throw line. Mo Cheeks this year was the best shooter among guards in the league. He averaged 57% from the field. He was the number 7 free throw shooter in the league, and he was number 9 in steals. You couldn't ask for a much better year. Five points for Cheeks. First time he scored since he nailed the first 2 baskets of the game. Bullets have been draining that clock.
Sixers have got a lineup in there to match the Bullets across the front line, Frank, but where the Sixers enjoy an advantage right now is in their back court.
Well, the foul will be on Clement Johnson, and that is a second for the backup center for Philly. Going to the free throw line will be Gus Williams. Both teams in the penalty situation now for the remainder of the first half.
You know, Philly has got to be somewhat pleased that not only do they enjoy a 6-point lead right now, but they enjoy it with Dr. J, who has 3 personal fouls, has been out of the game for quite some stretch now, and he's had to watch the action from the bench, and Philly's done a good job. It shows you something about the talent and depth they have on this team.
76ers by 5, their biggest lead of the game, 6 just a moment ago. Tony, inside penetration, loops it up and scores. Great hang time by Andrew Toney. Washington going to have to heat up again. They've missed their last 5 shots, and Gus Williams does just that. 11 points for Williams here in the first half in a 5-point game with a minute 20 remaining prior to intermission. Malone, nice pass to Jones, but Jones couldn't handle it. Turns around, says, nice pass, Mo, my fault.
Excellent 2-man basketball play that time between Malone and Bobby Jones, but the pass was a little too hard and a little too low by Moses Malone. You got to get it up around the letters for the big fellas.
Charles Jones in the lineup to Williams, guarded very closely by Cheeks. Inside to Ruland. Ruland tried to muscle his way in, loses it. One thing about Ruland, he is very turnover prone. He led the league in turnovers 2 years ago. Tony with the miss, long pass down to Gus. That was one time Cheeks couldn't find him.
Couldn't find him at all, and that's where Gus is most effective in the open court. Mistake Jeff Ruland made last time. Frank, the big fellas have a tendency to put the ball on the floor in heavy traffic. Can't do it.
Tony with a 3-pointer. Andrew Toney with the first 3-pointer of the ball game. And Toney has the offense working with 14 in the first half. 6-point lead by the 76ers matches their best. Darren Day fakes the 3-point shot, goes to Ruland, underhands it. Nice shot. Ruland was named to the All-Star team again this year, but couldn't play because of that shoulder injury. He had a rotator cuff problem in the right shoulder. Down to 5 seconds. Toney puts it up. 2-point try, doesn't go. There's the horn. And that is the end of the first half, and a very entertaining first half. Coming up shortly, Pat O'Brien at the half. We're at halftime in Philadelphia with the 76ers leading the Bullets 56-52.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Still beautiful, Dad.
Took your brother through college, take you wherever you want to go.
On Quaker State.
Right. Smooth oil flow is what you want, protects the engine. See, Quaker State starts with Pennsylvania-grade crude, delivers stable viscosity.
You get great protection with the Big Q.
Hey, how come you know so much?
From listening to you.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
We're here at the 18th hole of this light beer open, and we've seen some real unusual shots today.
You said it.
Hey, Bob, I think you got a birdie.
Elsie, how am I supposed to hit it through this tree?
No problem, Bert.
How's Yuka going to get out of this one?
That calls for another light beer from Miller.
Make it 2,
3, 4.
It's a good thing light's less filling.
Back to you.
John, the last player's approaching the tee.
And when it goes to 100, you sell. I won't be long, girls. Hold my calls, will you?
It hit the weather vane. It's in the drain. Here it comes out. It's going on the green. It's going in the hole.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
This open ought to be closed.
Security is a thumb in a blanket. I realize some people need more protection. I usually recommend Metropolitan. It's a quality company, strong and secure. They sell life insurance, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, health insurance, IRAs, investment management, pension plans. Actually, unless you have the reflexes of a mongoose, I'd say get Met. It pays.
You're watching At the Half from our studios in New York City, where we're keeping you up to date on all the 1985 NBA playoff action. Out in the Rockies, the Denver Nuggets have given the fans in the Mile High City a season to talk about, and they were talking at the start of the season, all right, but in anger, as Denver had traded its superstar Kiki Vandeweghe to Portland. But since then, the new-look Denver team has done all the talking after the big deal with Portland.
You just hope and pray that this works to Wayne Cooper's advantage, and to Calvin Natt's advantage, and to Fat Lever's advantage.
We feel that we have greatly upgraded our team. We have plugged up 3 positions, basically, a forward, center, and a guard.
You know, when you make a big trade like this in the NBA, you got to be somewhat of a gambler to play these kind of stakes. Now, the Denver Nuggets, they rolled their sleeves up, took out the deck of cards, they shuffled them, and the very first thing they did was to deal an ace. But by the time the game was over, they got 3 back.
You don't get ahead in life without taking a gamble, without taking a risk, without putting yourself out there. I mean, it wasn't a trade, it was a happening, it was an event, something that comes along once in a lifetime in a franchise.
I knew Denver had to do something, and, you know, I felt that they got a tremendous trade out of it.
And the way Denver played at times last year, they needed a great deal.
They're just standing around. They are not playing defense at all.
We had to do something. We had to. We were stuck in a corner. And without the trade, we could go nowhere but down.
Denver's new blood has kept them on top all season. Calvin Natt picked up the scoring slack left by Vandeweghe. Wayne Cooper filled a large defensive void in the middle. And Fat Lever runs the show. And they're all wondering how Portland let them plus 2 draft picks get away.
My first response was, is that all you guys got? And it was a shock to me.
They gave a 5-ball player for 1-ball player. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you never do that unless you know, somebody's going to come in and it immediately change the franchise around.
While Kiki may not have turned the Portland franchise around, nobody, including Portland, feels the Blazers got shortchanged in this deal.
They were trying to paint, the way I look at it, a basketball Mona Lisa, and Kiki was their last part.
They benefited greatly, and we're experiencing the fruits of that trade now.
And what the Nuggets' big 3 have brought is championship caliber basketball, and quickly.
I'm in a hurry in this job. You know, I'm not here to build myself a 10-year regime or anything like that. I want to become a winner real quick, and then the moment I do, out that door I go.
He told me he can be out the door in 5 minutes, a radio, and 2 paintings. All right, the subject is dunks, the place, Houston, the team aptly called the Rockets. The result, aerial highlights that even Phi Slamma Jamma, formerly of the University of Houston, would envy. There are no official stats kept on dunks, but nobody will argue that the Rockets spend almost as much time in the air as the Space Shuttle crew. The Houston Aerial Show has attendance soaring, and the fans love a successful liftoff.
It gets the crowd up and gets the team up.
If you can get a three-point play off a dunk or get a dunk and get the adrenaline flowing, sometimes it can spark a team to go ahead and play better basketball.
The twin towers of Ralph Sampson and Akeem Olajuwon put the most wear and tear on the hoop. They not only get the crowd up, they get opponents down.
Akeem is just awesome when he gets going. Akeem just, he can dunk all night long. In fact, he could probably dunk every point he gets, if he really wanted to.
The hottest Rockets in Houston today are over at the Summit. There's a bunch of guys with the real right stuff.
Folks down here love anything that flies, and the Rockets have developed the right stuff to a higher art form that has propelled them to new heights. You think Deke Slayton never thought he'd be on At the Half? CBS Sports coverage of the 1985 NBA playoffs comes back to earth after this.
When you look for champions, you look to the PGA Tour on CBS Sports. In the month of May, CBS Sports golf coverage gets into full swing, beginning with an event named after one of golf's living legends, the Byron Nelson Golf Classic. Then a Golden Invitation-only field will compete in the Colonial National Invitation. And Jack Nicklaus will defend his title in his own 10th annual Memorial Tournament. It's the PGA in May on CBS Sports. This is CBS.
All muffler guarantees are not created equal. For instance, some guarantees could say you have to bring back the bad parts and the receipt if you have to get their muffler replaced on the road.
But the Midas guarantee is different. We have over 1,400 shops on the road. So if anything goes wrong with your Midas muffler in 50 states, we'll replace it free for as long as you own your car.
Don't you wish all guarantees were that simple?
Trust the Midas touch.
You could choose Heineken solely because it's far and away Europe's favorite, and Europeans know their beer. Or you could choose Heineken because it's far and away America's #1 imported beer. Americans know their beer too. Or you could open it and pour it and choose it for the best of all possible reasons. Heineken is the best beer in the world.
Come to think of it, I'll have a Heineken.
Dodge would like to thank someone special for seeing us through the tough times.
Thank you, America.
Dodge is thanking you, America, with 8.8 financing on new Omnis, Chargers, and Daytonas. With Thank You, America discount packages on selected cars, up to $500 cash back on selected trucks. We're also thanking America with free Aries automatic transmissions to our dealers so they can pass along the savings to you.
Thank you, America.
So come on in and see how we'll thank you.
Your nearby Dodge dealer. Find out what the Inspector General uncovers at the 4077 starting Monday on MASH.
Our halftime score, Philadelphia leads Washington 56-52. We're back in our New York studios, and once again, to set the scene for you in the playoffs, the winner of the series you're watching will go on to play either Milwaukee or Chicago in the semifinal round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Right now, those teams are waging quite a struggle out in Milwaukee. Don Nelson could be the coach of the year this year. He was supposed to be on a rebuilding year, but it's turned into some year for him. Let's watch now as Sidney Moncrief takes it in for two, and he draws the foul for a three-point play. Kevin Lockery with a new haircut there. He doesn't like that call. Terry Cummings has been a big factor for Milwaukee all year. And a big factor for Chicago has been Michael Jordan, and he has 21 points as that one sinks in, and the score now is 59-53. In playoff action later today, Detroit and New Jersey meet in Game 2. The Pistons lead that series 1-0. And in the West, Houston will host Utah. The Jazz a 1-game advantage there. Now, the winner of that series moves into the Western semifinal against either Denver or San Antonio. And last night in the Mile High City, the Nuggets and Spurs hooked up in a thriller. Denver fans were mile high coming off this Thursday night's big win over the Spurs. With their backs against the wall, San Antonio went to the Iceman. He rebounded from a poor performance, had 41 points on the night. Doug Moe's Nuggets are 35-7 at home, but with the clock ticking down, Artis Gilmore misses a shot. Jeff Cook puts it in to give the Spurs the lead for good. Desperation shot by Wayne Cooper is no good, and this series is tied at 1-1.
I'd say it would be the battle of the OK Corral. But I think it'll be the battle of the Alamo. I think it'll really be a scrape, a battle. I think this is going to be a good series.
Somebody's going to need John Wayne in this one, Davy Crockett. Game 3 of that series is slated for Tuesday in San Antonio, where the Spurs have beaten the Nuggets, count them, 15 straight times in the hemisphere. Let's go to other sports news now. In golf, the final round of the Heritage Classic is underway down on Hilton Head Island. Bernhard Langer now leads by 1 stroke. And for a report on what's ahead, let's go to Pat Summerall.
The final round of the 1985 Heritage Classic about to come your way, and it looks like we're going to have a dandy finish. A lot of people questioned after Bernhard Langer won the Masters last week if he could continue that level of excellence. Indeed, he can. The West German continues to throw it right at the pin. That was at 17. He went on to make this birdie and put him in sole possession of the lead. Langer at -10, but there are a lot of people behind him who can still win. As we look at the final round of the 1985 Heritage Classic coming up to you right after basketball. Weather conditions ideal. Temperature 80 degrees, humidity 70%, the wind southwest 5 to 10 miles an hour. Forecast is for it to stay just like it is, so you stay with us right here on CBS and watch the final round of the Heritage Classic. From Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, I'm Pat Summerall, CBS Sports.
All right, Pat, thank you. And you stay with us because Frank Gleber and James Brown will be back as CBS Sports coverage of the 1985 playoffs continue in a moment.
It was incredible out there today. I had to work for every point. My muscles feel sore, but they won't for long because I've got Ben Gay. You can feel it working right away. You know, I also use Ben Gay before I play. It helps me warm up and play more comfortably, longer. And that can make the difference. Like today.
Ben Gay before and Ben Gay after. Feel better with Ben Gay.
You can feel it working right away.
About the time Car and Driver magazine stated that at Audi, the future of the automobile is being decided. So many people decided to buy the Audi 5000S. It became America's fastest-selling European sedan. And now you can lease an Audi 5000S for $298 a month.
In all of the great outdoors, there's beauty to hold forever. Forever in stamps, thrilling creatures great and small. Forever in stamps, let's keep our friends wild and free.
Save the wonder for all to see.
Forever in stamps.
Hey, Dad, our own animal kingdom.
Come to the post office and discover stamp collecting with the Duck Decoys Blocker 4.
This is called full court stress. Everyone gets it, but there are ways to avoid the depression, ulcers, high blood pressure, and technical fouls it can cause. Learn to relax, exercise often, and know your limitations. For a free booklet on how to handle stress, write the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York. Remember, too much stress is something worth worrying about. A public service message from the National Basketball Association.
And welcome back to the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Washington and Philadelphia, second round of their opening round playoff series on CBS Sports. The home of the NBA playoffs, Frank Gleber along with James Brown. I'm a little surprised, actually, the Bullets are this close when you consider they didn't get that much out of Cliff Robinson, out of Jeff Malone, or out of Jeff Ruland in the first half.
Bullets must count themselves extremely fortunate, Frank, and a large reason for that is because of their shooting percentage, 61% shooting. That has kept them in the game and only down by 4 points.
Robinson and Malone each had 3 personal fouls. Ruland had just 4 points and 2 rebounds in the first half. Of course, the 76ers were without Doc Irving for a good part of that first half.
Well, the Sixers can afford to miss Doc a little more so, if you will, because they've got such superb talent. Andrew Toney, who scored 16 points in the first half, he picked them up considerably. They can afford to not have Doctor more so than the Bullets can afford not to have a Jeff Malone out there.
Key stats, how about rebounding?
Rebounding, I mean, the Sixers are really doing a job on the boards. 24-13. Moses Malone has been doing one bang-up job, so he's back in form.
And in the free throw shooting department, Philadelphia with a big edge, and we commented about Moses Malone earlier, and he still has not picked up a personal foul in this game.
Free throws right now is the difference in the game. That's why Philadelphia is ahead 56-52. Washington has got to force the action a bit more, taking the ball to the middle. Jeff Ruland has got to get Moses Malone to play him a little tougher, and it's amazing that Moses Malone has no fouls.
One guy who's picked up the slack certainly for the Washington Bullets has been Darren Day, who has scored 15 points and leads all Washington scores in the first half. There's a young man you normally don't see score that many points. They also got 13 from Williams and got 10 from Jeff Malone. Those three players in double figures. And then Andrew Toney with 16 points is the only 76er player who hit double figures. Doc Irving is back in the starting lineup as we're about to get the second half underway. I noticed Doc, now at the age of 35, is gone back to school. He is working on his degree at the University of Massachusetts. Now here's a man who has already received an honorary PhD from Temple, and he's going back to get his undergraduate.
Couldn't find a finer diplomat or NBA spokesman, if you will. Super individual.
Milwaukee leading Chicago by 6 at halftime. That's at the Mecca in Milwaukee. And the winner of that series will go on to meet the winner of this series in the second round of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Bullets, having lost the opening tip, control the ball here at the start of the second half. And Washington is opening with the same 5 which opened the ball game, and the same thing for the 76ers. Ruland in the middle. Robinson, who played only 9 minutes in the first half, missing, and Barkley and Malone arguing over that rebound.
The ball was the only thing to lose in that effort.
That's right. Was in danger of having the air squeezed out of it. Inside to Barkley.
They call a walk on him. Subtle pro trick that Cliff Robinson exercised that time.
As we related to you earlier, the field goal percentages, both teams shooting very well in the first half. Washington 61% and Philadelphia 57%. Ruland out to Gus Williams, 3 seconds. Lane violation called on the Bullets. I did say both teams opening with the same 5. There is one change, and that's Barkley in there for the 76ers in place of Bobby Jones, who opened at a forward position. No score so far in the second half.
Mismatch of Barkley on Malone on Barkley.
Toney faked the 3-pointer, driving on Robinson. Pretty good spin on that.
I tell you, it's hard to see anything that's wrong with Andrew Toney's ankle. He's cutting just as sharply on that as he was at the beginning of the season.
Sixers' biggest lead was 6. And they have matched that right now, leading 58-52 early in the second half. Gus Williams, great freelance player, off today, and Day's cooled off now. Barkley gets it all the way down to Doc Irving. Great pass. Basket will count, and he's fouled by Day. What a fine pass. I think Barkley's got a little baseball background in him.
Now, when Billy Cunningham talks about the defense keying Philadelphia's offense, this is what he's talking about. And again, Gene Shue of the Bullets would hate to see the doctor get going with exciting plays like this because it fires the teammates up.
Irving now with 11 points, and Shue immediately has called a 20-second timeout.
And you can believe that timeout was called for that very reason, to keep Philadelphia from getting inspired. If they put together consecutive strings like that, Frank, then the Bullets will start to lose confidence in themselves.
Shue is not the type of coach who'll save all the timeouts for the end, will he?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, he's what you would call a situational coach. He will coach and make moves predicated upon what the action is at that time, versus a Billy Cunningham who is more minutes-oriented. He'll substitute according to when his guys get tired. Charles Barkley comes in at a certain point. Bobby Jones goes out at a certain point.
Something we should point out in the history of the NBA and in 3 out of 5 series, as Williams drives for the basket, can't get it to go. Gus gets his own rebound. Again, Williams penetrating and gets the hoop. What I started to say is that no team has ever trailed. Well, I'll take it back. One team came back from trailing 2-0 in a best-of-5 series and won the series, and you have to go back to 1956. Irving got away with a walk, I believe, that time. Rebound comes down to Robinson. Day with the drive, off to Jeff Malone, and Malone hits it from the corner.
Great defensive reaction that time by Andrew Toney. Just a better shot touch by Jeff Malone.
Billy Cunningham having a word or two with the Mo Cheeks about the way that the 76ers failed to get back. And we've got a timeout with 9:45 left to play in the third period. And the Sixers by 6.
Just last week, Jim McGill had his car tuned and checked for any problems. But there was one his mechanic couldn't see. The fan belt. Even this morning, no mechanic could have seen it would break because today's engine belts don't usually show signs of wear. But after 4 years, even the best belts can go anytime. Is your car 4 years old or older? Change the belts and ask for Gates, because nobody knows more about belts.
I hate errors, even when I paint something. That's why I like Krylon spray paint. Look, spray this one with Krylon, this one with this other brand. Krylon goes on smooth, professional. No runs, no drips, no errors.
Hey, that's baseball talk.
That's Krylon talk. 12 minutes later, Krylon's dry to the tackle. An hour later, the other one's still wet, see? Krylon for a smooth, fast, professional finish.
I was talking to the boys over by the Laser J today. Seems they know a thing or two about this Meisterbrow Festus been buying for the bunkhouse.
I tell you, this stuff's more expensive than a coyote coat.
Well, the way they tell it, ain't expensive at all. Just taste expensive.
And what's that rattlesnake doing with all the money we chip in for beer?
Hey, Bud Sewer, got a table for me and the little filly?
Rich, smooth Meisterbrow. It only tastes expensive.
I'm Cale Yarborough. Saturday, on the International Race of Champions, you'll see one of the wildest finishes in racing history.
The International Race of Champions Series on CBS Sports.
Sixers leading by 5 with 9:45 left to play in the third. The timeout situation looks this way. Washington has used its 20 and has 5 left. Philadelphia has 5 full left and 1:20. There's another reason that the Bullets have had problems in the last half of the season. Frank Johnson, who's on the bench with a broken foot. Fine guard, James.
And, you know, so many people have talked, rightfully so, about Jeff Ruland's absence hurting the Washington Bullets. Frank Johnson has hurt just as much because the Bullets are now minus a very valuable penetrating guard who knows his system extremely well and knows his players' tendencies and habits.
He has a broken foot, yet he is on the active list. And the Bullets hope if they get to the second round that he might be ready to play some. 76ers, 61. Bullets, 56. Cheeks controlling on the outside. Guarded by Gus. Goes to the doctor, inside to Barkley. He just waits till the bodies stop flying past, and then he goes up for the easy 2. 76ers asserting more control in this quarter. Irving with the steal. Look out.
That tactic, defensive tactic of Gene's shoes, trying to minimize turnovers, is starting to fall apart now, and that's what's favoring Philadelphia.
Game 3 scheduled for Wednesday night on the Bullets home court at the Capitol Center. Jeff Malone, who hit 6 out of 8 in the first half, missing. Cheeks down to Barkley. Barkley, offensive foul, just trampled Jeff Malone.
Again, take a look at the steal coming up by the doctor. This is what Billy Cunningham loves to see, is his defense turn into the strong offensive end, and the doctor has got him fired.
3 fouls now on Barkley. Good call, that last charging?
Frank, it looked awfully light to me. I think it might have been a better no call.
Jeff Malone looking into Ruland. And Ruland and Malone doing a little shoving. I believe Moses has picked up his first foul. Foul number 1 on Malone. What have they done to really get Ruland out of this game here in the first half?
Philadelphia's doing a nice job of sagging on Jeff, double teaming. Jeff, being attuned to that, has been trying to find the open guys on the perimeter to pass back out for the shot, which is why Jeff has not scored as much himself.
Jones trying to get the pass inside to Jeff Malone, throws it away.
Bullets are starting to fall apart offensively. Poor execution. The same thing that frustrated them the other night when they turned the ball over 7 consecutive times.
Now this is the Bullets' big lineup that did awful well in the first game the other night. Tony off to Irving. Jones grabs the rebound. Jones is 6'9". You've got Ruland in there, 6'10", and Robinson, who is 6'9". They did a great job the other night. Malone with the miss. Ball tipped loose. Ruland goes up for the follow. Barkley down to Irving, and the doctor dishes it off to Tony. Inside to Malone. 3 seconds. No basket. Lane violation called against the 76ers as Moses was camping inside.
Now, Charles Jones of the Bullets is limping quite noticeably now. Looked as if he turned that ankle bad. Let's see how badly it's going to affect him.
9-point advantage for Philadelphia. Ruland goes to the hole. Malone there defensively. 3-on-3 break. Irving. He's fouled. Well, the crowd getting into it now, rising to the occasion as Gus Williams picks up his first personal foul.
And again, it's very obvious that Philadelphia has decidedly tried to pick the pace up, and that's what's working well for them. They're getting down and getting the Bullets in mismatch situations. Philly is much quicker individually than the Bullets are, and they're trying to capitalize.
Well, Gene Shue told us this morning, we can't run with them. We cannot run with them. We've got to slow it down a little bit. And right now, the 76ers are running. And Shue wants a timeout with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the third period. And the 76ers have upped their lead to 10, their biggest lead of the game.
Setting off to find America. Gonna take my own sweet time to find America.
Kodacolor VR films, capturing America in all its glorious colors.
And everywhere I see people smiling back at me, so glad to be in America.
Kodak film, because time goes by.
There are 2 ways to buy insurance. From a one-company agent, but he's locked into only those policies that his company sells, or from an independent insurance agent. He doesn't work for just one company, he represents several, so he's free to help advise you on the best coverage at the best price. See your independent insurance agent, the more than one company agent. He's not locked into just one company. Check the yellow pages for your independent insurance agent, the more than one company agent.
Ryder presents a moving tribute to those industrious few who saved money by renting a truck from somebody else. The Brewbakers from Akron who saved $14.50 moving to Topeka. Stanley Helms who saved $8 moving from Tulsa to Reno. The Willises who saved $6.95 on their move to Seattle. And finally, to the Blevins family, who saved a grand total of $13 and found out, like they all did, that it's Ryder or it's wrong.
At the conclusion of the game, James and I will select the light beer most valuable player of the game. In conjunction with the award, light beer from Miller will present a check for $1,000 to the National Multiple Sclerosis Foundation in that player's name. Now, you talk about a model of perseverance in the NBA. Take a look at Charles Jones of the Washington Bullets. He has been signed by 6 NBA teams. He has played in 2 foreign countries, in France and in Italy. He has played 4 years in the Continental League, and now he's back up again and doing a great job for Washington.
Real positive find for the Bullets, and he's really contributed some very quality minutes for this team.
Frank Gleaver along with James Brown. We're at the Spectrum for Game 2 of this Eastern Conference first-round series between the 76ers and the Bullets, as Doc Irving misses the free throw, but the Sixers still with a comfortable 10-point advantage. Coming your way on CBS Sports, the home of the NBA playoffs. There's Jones off to Ruland, bringing Moses out with him to the top. Bullets need somebody to get hot. It could be Cliff Robinson, who's a good outside shooter. Robinson has had a very quiet afternoon so far with 6 points, and he's averaged almost 17. Got into foul trouble early with 3 personals. Andrew Toney takes a look inside to Malone. Nothing there. Who decides to drive. Shot clock at 4 seconds as Cheeks puts it up. Malone with the board. And Moses will go to the line.
The thing that Moses does so well, Frank, is that he plays the inside angles so well. Moses never stops working. He will fake one way and cut the other way. Then he'll fool you the next time. He'll curl. But once he gets anywhere within that 5-foot area, 8-foot area of the basket, he's just virtually unstoppable.
They say that foul was on Ruland, so that'll be his second. Moses missed his first free throw and has now made 5 in a row.
That's the thing that really makes Moses so valuable also, is that once he draws that foul on the inside, he'll make you pay for it on the free throw line. One of the better shooting big men in NBA history.
Now, Malone has had only 1 basket. We should point that out. That's way below par for Moses Malone. Good hustling defense.
And again, a little deceptive stat there, Frank, that you just mentioned, because Moses has got such a good supporting cast around him, good individual one-on-one ball players who picked up the scoring slack while he concentrates on Jeff Ruland.
Chicago and Milwaukee knotted in the third period at 68 apiece. That's been tight throughout. Gus Williams on the drive. Malone grabs it. They've got to get something out of Williams. He's been very cold in the second half. Barkley. The Crisco Kid strikes again. 70-58. Sixers' biggest lead now has reached 12 points. Jeff Malone with a great shot and counted, and he is fouled. Great off-balance shot.
Philadelphia has got the fast break going. As you take a look at Charles Barkley carrying 200 and I believe 663 pounds, 600. He looks to be about that. But Frank, Philadelphia scored 4 fast break points in the first half. The second half, they've got 7 in the third quarter by themselves.
Yeah, the reason we've gone from Wednesday to Sunday between these 2 games is because they've had a tractor pull here at the Spectrum, and there were rumors going around last night that Barkley was entered. He's doing all right, too. Great pass to Doc Irving, and Irving trying for the alley-oop. Couldn't quite get it to go. Oh, he can still go up. Bullets turned it over. Here's Mo Cheeks running the floor. Tony short from just inside the three-point line. And again, the Bullets are in a running game that they don't want to be in. 10-point lead for the 76ers. It's 70-60 with 5:20 left to play in the third. Robinson, excellent pass inside to Jones, who wasn't ready for it. Here's Cheeks. And Tony wasn't ready for that pass by Mo Cheeks.
Charles Jones on the other end of the court was thinking shot before actually looking the ball into his hands good. Now, you mentioned about Frank Johnson being out and how valuable he was to this Bullets team. Keep in mind, Gus Williams has had to log an awful lot of minutes. He's 32 years of age. Frank Johnson would spell him perfectly now.
The miss by Robinson from the corner, and Malone with the rebound. Moses kicking it out to Mo Cheeks. I was talking to the Dallas coaches the other day, Dick Motta and Bobby Weiss. They'd said outside of Magic Johnson, right now they think this guy, Cheeks, is the best pure point guard in the game.
Not many people will argue with you.
He really makes it happen. Tony puts it up.
Except maybe some Isaiah Thomas fans.
20 points now for Andrew Toney. And again, a 12-point advantage. Bullets want to slow it down, I would think.
They've got to execute better on the offensive end. They're getting sloppy right now. The guys are not concentrating well. And when they've got guys like Charles Jones taking that kind of shot, Frank, that doesn't help.
Jones is fouled by Cheeks, and Malone is really getting on Mike Mathis' case. No, I guess maybe they'll put it on Malone. But Moses says, hey, he fouled me first.
Gene Shue mentioned and admitted quite candidly this morning that he just doesn't have the quality one-on-one ball players on this team. And when you got guys like Charles Jones, who you see here with the ball, taking shots like he did prior to that, that's an indication that Gene doesn't really have anybody else to go to on the bench.
They'll put the foul on Malone. And Jones on the free throw line. Jones played at Albany State, where he was the 5th-ranked rebounder in that school's history. And the interesting thing about it is the 4 guys in front of him on the all-time list at that school were his brothers. Malone, guarded by Ruland, puts up the jumper from 20 feet. Jones scrapes it off the window. Here's Gus Williams. Jeff Malone hits. 16 points now for Jeff Malone.
Frank, I personally think that the Bullets can play a running game. I know that's ideally what Gene Shue wanted to do at the top of the season with Gus Williams and Cliff Robinson coming to him in trades, but they don't do it enough, and I believe it's because they don't think run enough.
Toney buries another one. 22 for Andrew Toney. Toney did not have a good night in game one. In fact, he was 1 out of 8 in the first half. Ruland with that little baby hook. The two-time All-Star collects a rare basket, gives him 6 points. It's 74-65. 76ers as we hit the 3-minute mark in the third period. Toney with the fadeaway. They better get somebody with a hand in his face.
I'd say he's rather hot.
24 now for Andrew Toney. Robinson. Bobby Jones with the rebound, loses it to Ruland, and Ruland scores and is fouled. The foul will be on Toney. Watch it again.
A lot of screaming and hollering, but actually a walk could have been called here with Bobby Jones losing his footing. A good no call by the official. And of course the Philly fans wanted to charge with Jeff Ruland there.
Team fouls are equal now at 3 apiece as we've got a timeout called by the 76ers.
You ever listen to a Tums? Did a Rolaids ever tickle your nose? Now, what about Alka-Seltzer? Listen. Now the nose. Those bubbles are telling you Alka-Seltzer is unleashing itself with lightning speed to attack your acid indigestion or heartburn with a headache. And that's something Tums or Rolaids can't do. So next time your body's telling you something, let it know you're listening. Send Alka-Seltzer to the rescue and feel it making you feel better. Fast.
People love Honda Sport-Trax 250 so much they tend to exaggerate about what it can do.
Hold an 18-wheeler out of mud this deep.
Why, it hold a 900-pound catfish back from the lake.
I use my Sport-Trax for repairs.
Well, what's so amazing about that?
On the roof?
The new Honda Sport-Trax four-wheeler. With shaft drive, reverse, and electric starter, it's got more features than any other four-wheeler. And that's no exaggeration.
This year, you'll apply your brakes over 50,000 times. And the more you stop, the more you'll need Midas. Because we back every brake repair we do with a nationwide guarantee on brake shoes and pads. If they should ever wear out, Midas will replace them free at over 1,400 locations for as long as you own your car. With such a good guarantee, why would you stop anyplace else?
Trust the Midas touch.
Vietnam. Those who fought bravely share their feelings as one former prisoner of war revisits his cell and remembers. Join Walter Cronkite as CBS reports Thursday.
Frank Lieber along with James Brown. Welcome back to the Spectrum in Philadelphia. There's the time remaining in the third period as the 76ers have assumed command. They're shooting 64% in the quarter to only 37% for Washington. Interesting thing about one of the Bullet players we found out yesterday, Cliff Robinson, number 4. Before every home game, he receives 1 red rose, which arrives at the Capitol Center via cab, and the card is always signed anonymous. Now, is that a story?
Tell you, no small coincidence that with this handsome young man coming to the Washington Bullets this year, the number of female fans in attendance have picked up.
That's Cliff Robinson, averaging almost 17 per game, but held in check here by the 76ers. Robinson has scored only 6 points in this contest. Ruland will be on the line as we get back to work. He's a 68% free throw shooter. This is his first free throw attempt in the ball game. It's another thing. Ruland normally goes to the line a lot when he's in there because of his physical type of play. Foul is on Robinson, and that is 4 on the Washington Bullets forward. Cliff finally got a shot here at getting in the playoffs. You know, he's been with the Cavaliers, and I guess he could have gone either way this year.
Was quite excited about being in his first playoff, and showed it the other night with a strong night.
He's been in the league 6 years after coming out as an undergraduate at Southern Cal. 76ers up by 9. Bullets haven't been able to get anything going shooting-wise. Malone with the fake on Ruland, puts the shot down. Whoa!
Very important for the Bullets to try and weather this Philadelphia storm. They obviously got the momentum by trying to execute a little better on the offensive end, taking more time off of the clock frame.
Gus Williams has scored just 2 points here in the third period. Malone has been missing, as he did there, and Moses, that is, grabs another rebound. That is 14 boards for Moses Malone as we get a whistle prior to the shot. And may have been either a traveling call or a lane violation, as the 76ers have turned it over.
I think it's important for Gene to possibly at this point start to experiment with a few other players on the bench.
There's the matchup in the middle so far. And outside of Malone with those 14 rebounds, neither man has scored that much. Ruland trying to remedy that. Dishes off the ballot. They say that Ruland walked.
Give the credit to Bobby Jones. Again, these players know each other so well. They know their habits and tendencies. They know that Jeff Ruland likes to kind of fake to the right, or rather to the left, and then swing around for that little sweeping hook shot. Bobby Jones cut the hook shot lane off for him.
If the 76ers advance to the second round, it's going to be interesting, because if Milwaukee beats Chicago, the 76ers will not have the home court advantage in that second round. Nor would they in the finals eventually against the Lakers. Irving, the doctor with the miss. The ball bounces out of bounds, off the foot, they say, of Bobby Jones. Washington Bullets, one of the premier blue-collar teams in the National Basketball Association. Malone, off-balance shot, fouled by Jones.
Bobby Jones knows that he did indeed foul Jeff Malone, but that was a very late whistle.
Every time we put up the Chicago-Milwaukee score, I keep figuring it's, you know, somebody's going to pull out in front a little bit, but it's been a 1-point, 2-point game throughout. And it continues to be that way at the Mecca in Milwaukee. Jeff Malone. Now this is a kid that is becoming a rapidly emerging superstar for the Washington Bullets. He has had a tremendous year, just his second year in the league after being a first-round pick a year ago out of Mississippi State.
We talked about Cliff Robinson receiving 1 red rose before every home game. Jeff Malone has a secret fantasy of hoping and wishing to date the rock star Vanity. He and about 8 million others.
I see. I guess I'd be giving away my age if I asked who Vanity was, huh?
She's hot.
Bobby Jones will go to the line. Foul is going to be on Jones. The other Jones, that is. Charles Jones. 9 points, 3 rebounds for Bobby Jones. .86% free throw shooter, so that's a rather rare miss for him. '76ers up into 13. They were up by 4 at halftime. Again, this is Philadelphia's biggest lead of the game. Ruland getting possession underneath, as Malone is now out of the game, and Clement Johnson, the backup center, is in for Philadelphia. Ruland getting his 5th basket. Johnson has been injured some this year. That's Clement for the 76ers, and that's hurt him because he was playing good ball. Richardson with the miss. They're just playing volleyball.
Shows you the depth of this Philadelphia team, because Cunningham was able to take Moses Malone out and rest him prior to the end of the third quarter, giving him a breather to go strong in the fourth. Washington does not have that luxury, and Jeff Ruland has got to stay in the game and work it out.
Final 10 seconds of the third period. Williams is double teamed. Jones slaps it away. Gus gets it back. 3-point effort doesn't go. Irving as the buzzer sounds. And that is the end of the third period with the score. The 76ers 81 and the Bullets 71. We'll return with more NBA playoff action after this word from your local station.
81.
Americans like the taste of so much, they're very possessive about it. It's O'Keeffe. They don't like to see it travel very far from home, so they don't let a lot out of Canada. In fact, it usually just travels from one end of the saloon to the other.
Thanks.
O'Keeffe, the saloon beer of Canada.
It performed in Europe, on the test track, on the Autobahn, in the wet and the dry. And it performed like a champion. Now it's here in America, and it's available for some of America's hottest GTs. Introducing XP 2000H, hot new rubber from General Tire.
Movie Madness, Monday at 5 on Barney Miller.
Here's the Mavericks with a chance to take the lead. McGuire, jumper, yeah! The buzzer, got it! The buzzer!
In the spiral. 2 seconds, 1 second. And the Knicks win! Incredible! Hey, with 5 seconds into the front court, goes to Malone into the corner. Malone throws up a brick left side. Oh my goodness, what a shot!
America's game.
Unbelievable shot!
It's fantastic.
The NBA on CBS. Today's playoff game from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is sponsored by Miller Beer. Miller, made the American way since 1855. Castrol, motor oil engineered for smaller cars. And by the new Golf. It's not a car, it's a Volkswagen.
Surrounded by history here in the city of brotherly love, Frank Lieber along with James Brown as we prepare to go into quarter number 4. With the 76ers firmly in command, 81-71. Philadelphia, 58% shooting in the third period. Washington, 36%. That shooting borders on masonry, I would say.
Jeff Ruland sitting on the bench now. Gene Shue trying to give him a few valuable minutes of rest here, given the fact that Moses Malone is out. Let's see which team profits.
Well, obviously, the Bullets are going to have to start shooting the ball a lot better. It's going to be over. Tony Robinson with the rebound. Down court to Jeff Malone. Malone drives and rides in for 2 points.
Again, an example of how I mentioned before, I think Washington really can play the fast break game, the up-tempo game. It's just really a matter of thinking fast break. Gene Shue, I think, has got these guys believing a little too much that they really can't run the basketball.
Air ball that time by Tony. Down it comes to Malone again, and Jeff Malone has scored his 22nd point of the game, and Billy Cunningham has seen enough as he calls a timeout for the 76ers as the Tony took a very ill-advised shot there, and he'll talk to him about it. Timeout.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. Be all you can be. Sponsored by the U.S. Army. The Phoenix Suns' Larry Nance has blossomed into one of the most versatile and exciting forwards in basketball. Renowned for his majestic maneuvers around the hoop, Nance consistently ranks among the league leaders in field goal percentage, often relying on the repertoire of moves, which made him the NBA's first slam dunk champion. Now taking his place as an all-star, Larry Nance soars over any obstacle to be the best he can be.
Now that I know that the cost of tuition isn't going to sideline my college plans, I can really enjoy my last year of high school.
Introducing the new GI Bill and the new Army College Fund. If you qualify, you can sign up now, join in July, and earn over $25,000 for college while you serve America.
Be all that you can be.
Find out more about the new GI Bill and the new Army College Fund from your Army recruiter.
Find your future in the Army.
Time still out here in Philadelphia as we take a look at the Eastern Conference playoff situation. This is the way the brackets size up. As we said, the winner of this series goes on to meet the winner of the Chicago-Milwaukee series. And you got the other 2 series up there, Cleveland against Boston and New Jersey at Detroit. And it'll be interesting to see what the Celtics do against Cleveland in Cleveland.
I tell you, many people right before that series started pretty much wrote Cleveland off. Cleveland has played exceptionally well. As we mentioned, I guess a couple of weeks ago, Frank, Cleveland has one of the best shot blocking teams in the league, and certainly their guard tandem is playing extremely well.
And New Jersey and Detroit will face the winner of that one. Of course, we'll have more NBA basketball coming up for you next weekend as we take it all the way through to the finals on CBS Sports, the home of the NBA playoffs. Jones is rejected by Jones. Bobby Jones winds up with the ball again, would not be denied, and got the 2 points.
There was an example of what most coaches would have preferred to see in the form of a player diving on the floor for the loose ball as opposed to standing around daintily looking at it.
Robinson double teamed underneath, kicks it back out to Gus Williams. Gus with just 2 points in the second half so far. They've got to get more from that man. Ballard from outside. Charles Jones with the follow. Next one by Robinson. Good job of keeping it alive this time by the Washington Bullets, and Cliff Robinson finally draws the foul. Foul's going to be on Johnson, and that's 3 on him.
Frank, a very significant point that you made about Gus Williams only having scored 2 points in the second half. One of the reasons that Gus Williams doesn't score as much as he possibly can is that no real plays are run from the set half-court offense for Gus Williams. He gets most of his points in the open court.
Robinson not having a good afternoon. That's just 7 points for him. A full 10 points below his season average. 83-76. 76ers and Philadelphia. I'll show you how they go to the offensive boards with those second half joints. Clement Johnson with a spin out, and Charles Jones with the rebound. To Ballard, who's a good shooter, who's now in there. Ballard in trouble. Knocked out of bounds by Bobby Jones. It'll be the Bullets' ball.
Now, as badly as the Bullets are getting beat on the boards, as well as in second chance scoring opportunities, it's a little surprising that Rick Mahorn has not seen more action. He's been on the bench for quite some time. Apparently, Gene Shue very dissatisfied with his play.
Malone loses it. Ballard gets it. Gus puts it up. Bullets cannot find a shooter here in the second half. That's what's killing them. They got the big production out of Day in the first half, and Day hasn't scored in the second half, hasn't played really to speak of, but he's getting ready to come into the game right now. Clint Richardson for the 76ers. Robinson with the turnaround, nails it. Robinson with that very outstanding baseline jumper when he can get it going.
Well, so far the bench contribution from the Sixers has far outweighed that of the Bullets. Billy Cunningham really sitting in the driver's seat right now because Moses Malone is sitting on the bench. He's getting some good, solid play from Clement Johnson in the middle.
Andrew Toney now with 26 points. Barkley getting ready to come in, and so is Day. Jones, who is not a scorer, to Ballard, who is. He misses. And Gus Williams missed a relatively easy follow, but the Bullets keep it alive.
I don't think Gene Shue can keep Jeff Ruland out of the game any longer either, Frank. The Bullets are looking totally disorganized on the offensive end. Do not have an inside scoring game right now at all. Jeff Ruland has got to get back in there.
Foul is on Charles Jones. That'll be his second. And rather obvious as he grabbed Clement Johnson around the waist. Team fouls are even at 1 apiece. Oh, you mentioned Mr. Ruland. There he is. Now, Darren Day, who scored 15 points in the first half and led the Bullets in scoring, has played only 3 minutes in the second half. And he only had 2 fouls on him. He did miss a couple of shots early, and he got pulled. Irving with the miss of the hook shot, and Robinson with the rebound.
Now, in terms of this chess game being played, the only question that remains now is how long Cunningham will keep Moses Malone out. This unit that he's got in there is working well, so he may keep him out just a tad bit longer.
Jeff Malone with 24 points. And a 7-point lead, and here comes Moses.
And indeed,
you've been reading somebody's mail here.
It was indeed just a tad bit longer.
Richardson open.
There's only a 9-point difference. Philadelphia is only up by 9. The Bullets have really got to start playing more inspired basketball.
Ruland fouled by Johnson as he went to the hole. And here comes the big man. Hard to believe Moses is only 29 years old. It seems like he's been in the league forever. Actually, he's been in for 10 years, but keep in mind that he came in out of high school, never went to college.
It's always kind of funny when the guys are being introduced and you hear all these colleges. And Moses, they say Petersburg High School.
Yeah. Robinson with the miss. Barkley running to Irving. The doctor with that great body control has 16. Timeout called by Gene Shue with 7:36 left to play in the game. The incomparable Dr. J.
A few years ago, he might have jumped over top of Darren Day, but at 35, he's under control now and still hangs as if he was 25.
Third foul on Day. Timeout with the 76ers leading by 11.
Folks stand proud and tall, they'll look you right in the eye. A place where pride is worth a whole lot more than money can buy. Where people care about their family, where laughter's sincere, where your word is your word, a friend's a friend, and Miller's the beer. Miller's made the American way, born and brewed in the USA. Just as proud as the people who are drinking it today. Miller's made the American way.
Miller contains no additives, no preservatives. Miller beer, purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
Bigger engines work easy on oil. But today's smaller, higher revving engines are tougher. They can break down an oil's viscosity within 1,500 miles. That's why there's Castrol. Tests show Castrol suffers no significant breakdown of viscosity even after 5,000 miles. So use Castrol, because if you make things too hard on your engine could make things hard on you. Castrol, engineered for smaller cars.
Live coverage of the Heritage Golf Classic continues on CBS Sports. Next.
Well, Bobby Watkins has been on the PGA Tour for a long, long time. Will he finally get his first victory? Of course, he's been living in the shadow of brother Lanny, and right now he has a one-shot lead after 6 holes in the Heritage Classic with Bernhard Langer, the Masters champion. Just 1 stroke behind, and you'll see final round coverage upcoming right after the conclusion of our NBA game. Frank Lieber along with James Brown in Philadelphia. CBS Sports, the home of the NBA playoffs. Round 1 action here. This is game 2 of the best of 5. Darren Day. In the corner it comes to Malone, and Malone continues to have the hot hand here for the Bullets. He's almost single-handedly keeping them close as he has now scored 26 points. Washington shooting in the first half 61%, and you can see they have dipped to 35, and Philadelphia's, on the other hand, has been pretty constant. So the Bullets have really cooled off, and the Doctor starting to heat up. 18 points for Julius Irving. Sixers' biggest lead has been 13. They're up by 11. Ruland going hard to the hole. I tell you, we've had the earth move on several collisions between Ruland and Malone.
Wow, a lot of chip paint under the backboard there. Paints up off the floor. Moses is the one who's normally known for being able to wear out about 2 or 3 centers a ball game. But Jeff Ruland has got some excellent stamina. These two are really going to war.
Ruland on the free throw line. 1 out of 2 from the stripe. He has 11 points. Half dozen rebounds. His normal season average is 12, but he had only 2 at intermission. And you got to figure the guy's got some rust on him after missing 43 games. Irving tried to thread that pass inside to Moses, and it was kicked by the Bullets. So the 76ers will retain possession. Barkley guilty of that last foul, and that is now 5 on Barkley. Irving. We are at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Final period action as Bobby Jones lays another basket in for the Philadelphia 76ers. 14 for Jones. And a 12-point lead.
Second chance points again, hurting the Bullets. Sixers doing a good job on the offensive boards.
Ruland trying to back in on Malone. He's double-teamed, can't get rid of it. And finally we get a whistle and a foul, and Billy Cunningham is burying his hands after that call. He couldn't believe it. Only the second foul on Moses Malone. What are you laughing about?
Well, with over 600 games and not having fouled out, well, you see Cunningham complaining there. Not an awful lot. Take a look. Jeff Ruland can't find an open man. Moses grabs him on the elbow, on the wrist. Good call.
Well, one thing that Ruland is obviously rusty on is free throws. That's 1 out of 4.
That's one of the main differences between he and Moses, where Moses makes you pay for your mistakes by converting at the free throw line.
You know, they got him from Golden State in exchange for future considerations. Nobody knew who Ruland was. They gave up a second-round pick, and that second-round pick eventually came to Philadelphia in the person of Sam Williams, who is now on the bench for the 76ers. Inside to Malone. And Ruland really gave him a shot. I don't think there's any question about that one.
You know, there are a number of money ball players on this Philadelphia team. Dr. J, Andrew Toney, and of course the big fella at the free throw line. On that particular play, as Moses came down the court, he made it quite clear. And Moses doesn't talk very often. He says, "Give me the ball."
That's what he said. 9 points and 14 rebounds for Malone. Missed his first free throw, then made 5 in a row and missed that one. Again, the 76ers by a dozen as we hit the 6-minute mark. Final period. Last touch by Jeff Malone. It belongs to Philadelphia.
Same mistakes, mental, that the Bullets made in Game 1. Bullets have no choice now, Frank, but to pick up the tempo.
Malone has it taken away inside as Ruland ripped it out of his hands. Day comes up with it into Ruland, and Ruland loses it. Andrew Toney driving on Jeff Malone. Ball on the floor, and Day comes up with it. I've seen high school games operate a little smoother than this. Look at this, another turnover. Dr. J. Foul by Day, and Julius will go to the free throw line. Now, was that racehorse basketball, or was it?
Talk about conditioning.
Fans like the way the 76ers are hustling, and they get a standing ovation as they head to confer with Coach Billy Cunningham. Timeout with 5:25 left to play in the game.
Riding along in my GTI, my baby sitting by my side. I stole a kiss at the turn of a mile, my curiosity running wild, cruising and playing the radio with no particular place to go.
The new Volkswagen GTI is fun, even with no particular place to go. GTI, Motor Trend's Car of the Year.
Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. The technology behind it gives this driver engine protection he can depend on. And this driver. And this driver. And this driver. Mobil synthetic oil technology. There's no finer engine protection on Earth or anywhere else.
It's a rare antique I should buy, but it cost
$12,000. I see.
Merrill Lynch invented the cash management account to make the most of your assets.
I'd like to sell 200 shares of...
Wait, there might be a better way. I'll get back to you.
Only the cash management account gives you the full resources of Merrill Lynch.
That stock's very strong. Don't sell. She'd do better to borrow against it. Absolutely. Hello. It's for you.
Well?
Well, it's yours. And here's how...
Merrill Lynch people, a breed apart.
CBS Sports is the home of the NBA playoffs. We'll have more upcoming next weekend. 3:30 Eastern time. Can't tell you what game right now because we don't know, but there's a good chance we could have a Game 5 of the Dallas-Portland series or Game 1 of the Los Angeles against Dallas or Portland series, and every week up until conclusion. Bobby Jones has scored 14 points for the 76ers. His season high is 17, and he's also produced 7 rebounds. So quite a job by the veteran.
Awfully nice also when Coach Cunningham has the luxury of having either Bobby Jones play well or Charles Barkley, because usually you'll find one or the other player in. Nice position to be in as a coach.
And where it doesn't show in the stats, of course, is the great defense that Jones gives you. It looks like Charles is fairly confident on the bench, doesn't it?
Really mixed in well with this team, but being 263 and not going to be too many people who won't look up to you.
Julius now 3 out of 5 from the line. That's 19 points for Doc Irving. Washington has 2 timeouts left. Philadelphia 3. But looking good right now for the Sixers, who have again their biggest lead of the game at 14. Day trying to drive on Julius. And the doctor picks up the foul.
That tactic worked extremely well for Coach Shue in the first half, having Darren Day go one-on-one against Doctor, and he has in fact exploited that. Couldn't get into enough of those situations in the second half, and with 5:16 remaining and down by 14 points again, Washington has no choice but to pick up the tempo, and I personally think they play very effectively at a faster tempo.
Day on the free throw line for the Bullets. Well, that's his first point of the second half after scoring 15 in the first half and leading the Bullets in scoring. So that's hurt him. Five minutes left to play in the game, and Cheeks playing a little keep away here as the 76ers may work on the clock. Julius going up high to scrape that one down. Can't get it to go, and Ruland comes up with the rebound. Gets it to Darren Day in the corner to Robinson, guarded by Jones. Shooting over Jones. Good hustle by Day underneath. Fine follow by the former UCLA star, who now has 18 points. 11-point advantage for the 76ers. Tony, three-pointer, yes!
He shot that one back from Washington, D.C., and I'm sure Jeff Malone had no idea that Tony would show that much confidence.
That's 31 points unofficially for Tony. Malone with the miss. Irving down court quickly to Jones. (101 to 87). The 76ers. Malone falling down, gets rid of the ball. Bobby Jones drives. Got the shooter's bounce. Did Bobby Jones. And the 76ers are on a roll. 16 for Jones.
All 5 cylinders working for Philadelphia right now. Interestingly, Mo Cheeks has taken a back seat and allowed his teammates to take the limelight from this point forward.
Robinson misses the follow. Cunningham wants him to run. Cheeks dishes it off to Irving. Gene Shue has seen enough. Timeout, Washington, and these fans are going nuts.
Now that pass came from Mo Cheeks, and while the doctor was the one on the spectacular end with the slam, Mo Cheeks was the one who distributed that ball, and again, taking the back seat.
105-87, 76ers back in a minute.
Don't worry about me. I go through floods to bring you this offer.
What a day that was. We wanted to sell our house fast and for the right price, but Kim from our Century 21 office kept saying, don't worry, and she just wouldn't give up.
And then on the worst day ever, she brought us the best offer of all. How do you find people like that?
All you gotta do is pick up the phone. Put number 1 to work for you. Century 21.
Around here you can tell a friend's a friend. When you need him, he's there.
There's still a place where friend is a word you take seriously, where beer is beer and the brand is Miller.
Miller's made the American way. Born and brewed in the USA. Just as proud as the people who are drinking it today.
Miller Miller Beer. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
Some things look hard, but once you know the secret, they're easy.
It's easy.
Some people think financing a new car is hard, but it isn't. It's easy.
It's as easy as GMAC.
Now 8.8 GMAC financing on selected new GM models delivered by April 30th. Your participating GM dealer has details. With 8.8 GMAC financing,
It's as easy as GMAC.
It's easy.
Well, Andrew Toney and the rest of the 76ers getting a well-deserved rest with 3 minutes and 22 seconds left to play, and Philadelphia has really assumed control here in the last couple of minutes. I mean, they are trailing Sparks in that fast break as they have now moved out to an 18-point advantage. 105-87. Officially, Toney 12 out of 21 from the field at 29 points. Milwaukee leading Chicago by 5, and that game remains very tight at the Mecca in Milwaukee. We got about the same amount of time left as this one. Ruland puts up a brick from 20 feet. Jeff Malone with the follow.
Obviously, Gene Shue going for the three-point shots a little early now. 3 minutes left. He wants to get back into the game as quickly as he possibly can, and doesn't show any fear with having his players throw up the three-point shot.
Even Malone? Even Ruland?
As a matter of fact, Ruland has won a couple of games for them with three-point shots. I remember one in New York specifically.
76ers trying to drain the clock, and Andrew Toney continues on fire. That's officially now 31 for him. Jeff Malone is fouled and will go to the line as Toney picks up the personal. That is his fourth.
As we took a look at Andrew Toney there on defense, there were a lot of people who believe that there was a running deep feud between Coach Cunningham and Andrew Toney. And as you mentioned earlier, that Coach Cunningham just wanted Andrew to play much better defense. Doctor also brought up an interesting point that because Cunningham is very active on the sidelines and does a lot of yelling to the people in the stands, it looks as if he and Andrew may have a running feud, when actually that's just Cunningham's style.
30 points now for Jeff Malone of the Bullets. He's been all the offense they've had here in the second half. 76ers is trying to run as much time off that clock as they can. Malone finally puts it up over Ruland, winds up with an air ball. Hey, the guy who hasn't been there in the second half has been Gus Williams. As Day drives in and is fouled, Gus, who was in the ball game, had 13 points at intermission and has scored just 2 points in the second half.
And again, no plays really being run for Gus Williams. He's got to work for his shots in the open court or offer broken plays. Gus Williams is counted on to deliver the entry pass to the Bullets offense and does not figure into the scheme of things in terms of plays being set up for him.
Well, Doc Irving getting a nice hand as he leaves the game, and George Johnson comes in for the first time for the 76ers. So I would think that's tantamount to Billy Cunningham smoking the symbolic victory cigar.
Well, defense turned it around for the Sixers. If we were to take a look again back at what the game strategy was at the top, Philadelphia wanted their defense to dictate the tempo, and indeed that's exactly what happened in the second half. Coupled with the fact that while Coach Cunningham was not successful in getting 25 or more points from fast break opportunities, he did get 15 quality points. They came when they were needed.
George Johnson puts it up. Johnson getting the basket. And looks now like Cunningham is going to empty the bench and get his starters out of there. Day is fouled as he goes up for the shot. Here comes the bench. Leon Wood, who saw no action the other night, the #1 draft pick, number 20. Sedale Threet has come into the game.
Classy move by Leon Wood, who rarely sees time. And he's coming off the bench in scrub playing time, if you will. And he just went over and slapped the guys in the rear of those starters who were just taken out. Good classy move on his part.
Again, only once in the history of the NBA playoffs has a team come back after losing the first 2 games of a series in a best 3 out of 5, and that was way back in 1956 when the Pistons, who were then playing in Fort Wayne, managed to do it against St. Louis. So you can see the job that the Bullets have cut out for them as Game 3 will be at the Capitol Center on Wednesday night. Game 4 also on the Bullets home court, and if a fifth game should be necessary, they play it back here in Philadelphia next Sunday. But with the 76ers out in front 2-0, the Bullets have got some hill to climb. Leon Wood, one of 3 #1 draft picks that the 76ers had this year. Off to Johnson, and we get a whistle and a 3-second lane violation.
And even though
the 76ers,
Leon Wood has not received an awful lot of playing time, you mentioned he was a #1 draft choice. This kid can play a playmaker supreme. When he was in college, he can definitely pass the ball.
He was on the Olympic team, on Bobby Knight's team, and led that club in assists. Rebound to Johnson, comes down to Sedale, 3 behind the back to Williams, and Williams is fouled. Mahorn picks up the personal. That's his 3rd. 1 minute, 11 seconds to go. Still 5 points separating Milwaukee and Chicago. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in that game. We've got 1 minute and 11 left in this one. Sam Williams on the line for the Philadelphia 76ers out of Arizona State. Again, he eventually was the player who the Bullets traded, in effect, the rights to Jeff Ruland for. He became the draft pick. 3-point effort doesn't go. McMillan with the follow. That doesn't work. Here comes Sam Williams. 55 seconds. Williams puts it up. Spinning crazily out of control, and he's fouled.
Frank, you mentioned about the uphill battle that the Bullets are going to have, or rather to overcome, as you take a look at some of the sad faces on the bench there. Come Wednesday night at the Capitol Center, it's going to be very important that the Bullets not only establish the tempo early, but to get the lead against Philadelphia. Philadelphia normally has about 3 or 4 times on the course of the game where they will get the momentum going their way, and if they're ahead, then they'll blow the game open psychologically against the other team. The Bullets must get that lead and have that work to their advantage.
Williams misses them both, but gets his own rebound, and then misses the follow. Johnson. Clement Johnson with the hoop. Rick Mahorn from 17 feet buries it. Consolation baskets here on both sides. 111-94 with 35 seconds left to play in the game. As the 76ers will assume a 2-0 lead in this best of 5. Last year, you recall, they were beaten in the best of 5 series by the New Jersey Nets. And with all the complaining they're doing about the 76ers second half of the season as McMillan puts up a 3-pointer, the fact remains they still won 58 games during the regular season, and that's not to be sneezed at. Leon Wood. Wood is a kid who's always out here a couple hours before the game and puts on a shooting exhibition in practice. I mean, he can fire it up there from beyond 3-point range. Collins with the miss on the tip. There's the buzzer, and this one belongs safely in the...
Nothing but talent